Hello everyone, welcome back to a new YouTube cast. Today we're going to be having a look at a game played between Rogue and Kure, two of the top Koreans at the moment. On Romanta's side, which tends to provide rather long games, which is always very fun to see. Kure's late game has been something that's been talked about for years. His Ghost control, his Ghost Viking control in TVP has always been one of those scary things that's always in the back of the head when you play against him. Like, wait, he could do this. But he seems to have different plans for now as he opens up with a command center first against Rogue's standard hatchery first. Command center is extremely good against things like pool first because your CC finishes before the links even arrive. This is if it's like a, let's say a pretty passive pool first, so just like a 4-ling or 2-ling run by. These things usually aren't too great against command center first. He's following up with 2 Rex, so could also have gone for 1 Rex double gas. That allows for a very fast factory, and usually you also get a Reaper with that. Now in this case I believe it's going to be a Marine start because his gases are so delayed. I think he got both of his gases started after the second barracks. So we see almost no gas has been mined yet. 2 orbital commands go down as his second barracks finishes up. Tech lab as well as React is just looking to go into most likely a 2-1-1 from a command center first. Now the advantage of this build for the Terran obviously is going to be that yes, you're going to be able to have a little bit more eco, your CC finishes faster, but so far no Reaper, no Hellions for map control, and that can be a little bit annoying. We see an instant depot wall starting as well. I think he might, no, I was gonna say maybe he gets a quick 3rd CC, but his gas mining is just too high. He has too much gas, which indicates to me that he does want to go for the 2-1-1. Stim should start the moment he hits 100 gas. There we go. Stim starts immediately. He's cutting a couple of Marines because he doesn't need them quite yet. We see him spread out his Marine, trying to get any type of clue or any hint of where his opponent's Overlord is at the moment. Rogue, on the other hand, of course, if there's no Reaper on the map, if there's no Hellions on the map, his creep spread is going to start spreading out way faster than it usually does. Already has 2 active tumors here on the map as another queen pops. Most likely will make its way to the front as well. Queen in the main base, and he's gonna finish up speed. Sometimes against this you see a delayed speed, but not going to be the case this time around. I don't think Kure or Rogue has any clue of what actually went down. He had absolutely no idea. He still probably doesn't know that this was CC first, but at this point he doesn't care anymore. This Baneling nest, it's probably timed for something like a Hellbat all-in. Whenever I see 2-1-1, majority of the time what Zerg wants to do is very high queen count and then just a bunch of links. And you kind of push it back with just pure queen. I casted a game of Rainer who went up to 16. I want to say I casted a game of DRG on this same map as well, where he went up to 13 or maybe even 12 queens. Or even 12 queens, like it's more than 13. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to 7 queens before this push hits. We have 2 more queens on the way, so at least going to be 6. Usually you tend to not build anything from your main as your layer is morphing there. Can't really get another queen from there. Yep, there we go, another queen on the way. He's gonna go up to 7 queens, 12 links on the way. I'm surprised he let that Baneling nest finish, because a lot of the time slow Banes are never going to be able to connect in this type of scenario. Now we do have an armory going down, as well as this factory producing a couple of cars. So this actually is not going to be your standard 2-on-1. Instead it's going to be with a single medevac. Instead the reactor is being used as a way to pump out more units for this push. And I don't want to call this an all-in, but this is definitely some designated pressure. This is the type of pressure where if you're not perfectly ready, you're just straight up going to die. Now luckily we see Rogue, of course with that Baneling nest, actually going to be quite handy now. Ling run by is being sent out on the map. I'm not sure, I don't think I got spotted actually. He does have a wall though, so shouldn't be that big of a deal. These 3 Marines are going to go down. This Hellion should return home. No, sends it out across the map. That's a mistake. Now scan forward. A lot of creep is being cleared here. As we see the Banelings moving forward. Decent splits coming out of Kure, but I don't think the healing is big enough here, as there's still 5, 6, 7 queens alive at this point. Medevac goes down and this push will completely fail. Ling run by was trying to still do something here. I don't like these 4 extra links, but I do love these extra drones that are being produced right now. You see 4 drones did end up going down, but this is a fantastic cleanup here for Rogue, as Kure's 3rd CC just now is starting. Double eBay starting just now as well. Combat shield sure finishes up, but He has 4 Marines, or 7 Marines at this point, a single medevac. Good luck doing anything. Rogue realizes that he's gonna have a lot of time, throws down a Spire, probably gets a 4th base, could even potentially be thinking about a 5th base, and his creep spread. Let's take a quick look at that creep spread for now. We see it's really not all that far, but within a minute and a half, I think I'm gonna be expecting to see this part of the map completely spreading creep, as we're just going to be... we're just going to be not seeing any aggression coming out of Cure. He just can't do it. He's even going straight into Drilling Claw, 2nd factory before 3rd barracks, meaning he probably wants to go into drops to try and get something done. But against Murat, that actually isn't that great either, so I'm not too sure about this one, Cure, I have to admit. Not too sure about this one. Double drops heading out, but there's barely 6 units in here. There is a Hellbat, which looks massive, and for a second I thought, hey, does he have a tank in there? But no, it's just a Hellbat, so it's gonna be what? Maybe 10, 12 Marines, single Hellbat. There's still 7 Queens, there's 3 Banelings out, 20 Links as well. This is not going to be able to do anything here. As Cure actually needs to be careful that he doesn't end up losing another medevac. A couple of Links actually do go down. Sloppy Micro, they're coming out of Rogue. Doesn't want to be tanking Marine shots with Links, wants to be tanking Marine shots with those Queens. While he's targeting down medevacs exactly like this, and then you move back the link. There we go, that's looking a lot better here from our Korean Zerg player. A little bit of a sloppy micro. Sometimes you see this happen in situations where the Zerg player, or well, just any player, you just get very far ahead and you start microing sloppily because you're so far ahead anyway. That of course isn't the correct mindset. Oh, this is pretty dangerous here for Cure. He does have to boost out. Mutalisk pop out a little bit too late to catch those medevacs. We have another drop heading across the map, this time with those Widow Mines. I think Rogue is going to be able to clean this up. No, a couple of Banelings rolling in as well, making sure he doesn't lose a Mura by moving them back a little bit. At least 2 of these medevacs are going to fall. This medevac just got spotted. Like, this is dangerous, my friend. If he loses this, that would be a massive deal. There we go. Burrows his Widow Mines. 1, 2. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Ends up getting 5 Mutalisks, so that's actually a pretty good trade. Same time we had these Widow Mines, I guess, in the main base and maybe above here, doing a fair amount of damage as well. So actually these mines are really saving him for now. 3 mines being produced at a time, 1 medevac being sent out time after time after time. 4 mines moving towards the top of this ramp, and this might look silly, but this is actually going to be quite the setup. I mean, if a drone transfer happens here, if a bunch of links run towards this area, exactly like this is dangerous. There's just one more. Yikes. These mines growing once again in time. Yeah. Very painful here. This medevac gets in scot-free. It's going to be able to drop 1 mine over here, I assume. Yep, there we go. Targets the drone! No, targets the Mutas instead. Once again, 2 Mutas do go down. Mines get cleaned up, and of course this is nice damage. And then, don't get me wrong, this is really nice damage, but this also makes it very easy for Rogue to kind of just keep building drones, because as long as your opponent is just throwing away mine after mine, his main army is just going to consist of pure Marine, which means you don't actually need any links. So even though he's losing a lot of drones, and perhaps he's losing a few too many, he can just insta-rebuild them, because he doesn't actually need that many links. This is bad, he should have... This is a little bit silly, he should have cleaned that up now. Oh my god, a couple of more mines, not going to be able to do too much. Unit loss step so far heavily in favor of Cure, but because of that early game, still not looking that great. Where's that next medevac? Is it somewhere? There's a medevac here, there's a medevac flying on the bottom left. I wouldn't mind maybe seeing like a Spore and a Spine per base, at least to clean it up. I don't think I would mind that. We have 5 barracks, 3 more are on the way. Still double mine production. Did he manage to get it? I don't think so, right? I think they just got killed in time. I barely did miss that. I'm sorry for that. Creep spread, honestly not as far as I thought it would be. I really thought it would be a lot further on the map, but I guess dealing with those mine drops is pretty heavy on the multitask here, as we see an attack coming out of Rogue, which shouldn't really be able to do anything. I mean, there's no Banelings here. I feel like he's just poking and trying to get this Baneling run by in. He's not really, this is not a real attack. This is a hey, look at me, douche. Punch you in the back. It's like the guys that tap you on the left shoulder, stand on the right. Pretty much like this. This run is not being controlled by Rogue, by the way. Still getting 2 depots. Not the worst deal. If only, my friends, if only they would one-shot. Doesn't have the upgrades for that, sadly. Bunch of Muras flying around. Mura count isn't super high. I mean, it's at 17. But he lost a bunch, didn't he? I lost 8 Muralists. It really sucks if you lose these Muralists. It really eats into your gas count. Here you see these depot walls. This is one of the great things about Muralists, right? Whenever people build a depot, you can just kind of poke and prod at it, and then once the wall's gone, you can run in with Ling or Ling Bane or whatever you have, whatever have you. Now we have a couple of mines with this push now, so mines haven't been dropped in a while, and as a result they're finally here with the push. Kira is moving forward very rapidly, by the way. 2-2 upgrades, he's feeling pretty confident. Now 2-2 is about to finish up here for Rogue, at least. Actually, that's not true at all. 2-2 is still a little bit away. 5 workers once again went down, I guess to a mine drop. They're so difficult to spot for whatever reason for me. Good Overlord spread though coming out of Rogue, eh? That looks very, very nice. Queen moving forward. Mine gets another shot up, and this mine has 14 freaking kills. That's a legendary mine if you ask me. Moves everything back to deal with that single mine. Except his Overseer. Guess what, buddy? You're gonna need an Overseer. He's just... Okay, he's gonna go get the medevac. He's probably just gonna go to the front now that he sees this, and he's gonna let this mine stay. This mine's gonna get another shot. It's gonna get like 2 drones. Oh my god, not enough mines here to really fall back on. There's still 2 mines that will allow a safe retreat. Like I said, 2 drones did get killed, and finally Rogue's like, okay buddy, you've had your fun, it's time to go. 16 kills on that mine, definitely a worthwhile mine. Unit loss step 12k against 9k. These mines in the middle stay alive. A lot of these medevacs are low. You do have to be careful that you don't lose these medevacs to like the Muras on the retreat as you're trying to pick up. And with a mine splash, of course, can be kind of tricky to deal with as well. Marauders being sent forward. They don't shoot up though. Don't forget about that. Here, don't forget about that. But do we have a setup here? No, we have a run by, perhaps a semi-base trade. I don't think this Baneling count is big enough to truly delay this push for a very long time though. No, this has to come back home. I thought so already. I was like, you can bust at 1. Maybe you get what, like 10 SCVs, but there's a problem at your doorstep. And, well, in my head it wasn't going away soon, but I guess my man Rogue had different plans about it. I guess a couple of decent Baneling connections. And it's like, you know what? Relax a little, buddy. I got my ultras now. Got a bunch of Banelings. This is going to be absolutely fine for turret to deal with the Overlord, an absolute classic of TVZ. Now, Muta count still at 17. The micro with this Muta has been fantastic. Except for losing those first 5. He really hasn't been losing any of them. Well, big monitor too, but hardly any. As we see the chase here on the Hellbat, Marauder, Marine. Triple spine going down at this top base. We have this bottom base being taken. Now the problem with Romanticide very often for Zerg is that they can get up to a nice work count very rapidly, but the problem is it's so difficult to take one of your opponent's bases that in the end it's going to be a split map scenario, and Terran armies tend to just trade better over longer periods of time. So constantly as Zerg, you're on this high worker count where you're trying to constantly be trading and try to break the Terran, try to ensure that he runs out of bank, and then you take a good fight. But Curse is a little bit too good here. Quick with my burrows once again. Got a couple of decent hits. Still 3-4 Banelings with this army. There's enough Marauders though to push these, both these Banelings and these Ultralists back. Now we have the Mutalist in the main base. Did end up losing a couple of extra. Not sure if that was here or a little bit earlier already in one of the fights. 4-ling run by into the third base. Not going to work. These two bad boys actually will be able to cancel plating to the armor building, building armor. Reinforced plating, I didn't think it used to be called. Now, this base is most likely going to be a gunner. If the Mutas pop back into the main base, yep, there we go. Everything dies. 15 workers go down. This is kind of what you need as a Zerg player. So, you want to be doing these fights, and maybe if he can take down this base, that would be massive. He's going to be able to take down a lot of the SCVs here, actually. I think he's getting this base as well. No repair at all out of Cure. And he's going to trade one base for 2 bases and 29 workers. Right now, the Mutat is doing a lot of damage in the main base as well. Is there any Banelings though? No, but there's 33 on the way. What is the mine count in this army? Not that high. This army is extremely low in energy as well. A couple of decent connections with these banelings. Not quite going to be enough. Oh my god. 146 supply against 188 right now. 3-3 upgrades not done yet here for the man, Rogue, who wants to keep this base alive. He doesn't really need to. He has solid mining, but I guess he thinks he can make a stand, and I kind of agree with him. No, he gives up this base now, realizing, hey, he's going to be oversaturated here, actually. I thought he was going to be fine saturation-wise, because he has these relatively new bases, but I guess he's been mining these a lot longer than I kind of thought of. I mean, this 5th base, yeah, was probably pretty fast. His 4th base was really fast, and these are mining out already. I mean, 10 patches, 8 patches. We're going to be looking at 8 patches here, or 4 patches, sorry. 4 patches and 5 patches respectively. Maybe Rogue wants to try to retake this space, but also a possibility, of course, could be. Mine got both the drones. I was like, I was gonna say he sent both drones, so at least one will survive, and then the mine actually got 2. Because of the path thing. That's so lame. Maybe he wants to take one of his opponent's base here. I feel like Rogue has quite some momentum behind him right now, and he needs to kind of keep going. He needs to keep pushing that advantage. And if he doesn't do that, this can get very, very dangerous. Because the nice thing about having no worker is that your army is going to be absolutely massive. Especially because Rogue also already has 91 freaking workers. I mean, that's no joke, you know. 91 workers. That means his maximum army supply is, what, 109, right? I can count? Yeah, I can count. Like, that's kind of scary. It's kind of dangerous. The max army supply of Cure is going to be higher, and Cure tends to already trade better and more cost efficiently, and also more supply efficient in these fights. So, really, army value wise, it looks pretty close, but army supply wise, this is way in favor of Cure. And I think the next fight is kind of going to show that. Now, in this type of scenarios, actually, I've talked a lot with Zerg players about this scenario. This happens quite often, right? Where Terran gets very little SCVs, and then they just max out on 200 supply with like 17, 18 Marauders. Yeah, a couple of Ghosts, and then Marines. So it's like, well, are Infestors the answer? No, not really. What I've been told, actually, is that having a bunch of Brood Lords in this type of scenario is super useful, because this army doesn't fight too well against Brood Lords. Sure, you have some snipes, but in general against Brood Lords, you need way more time, and you play over a very long period of time. Very, very careful with Ghost, Lit, or Ghost Tank, Marine Marauder, whatever. And you can't really do that if you have no income whatsoever, which is the situation that Cure really finds himself in. I mean, he barely has any income. Now, all of these units are most likely going to fall to the Mutalisk, +3 attacks to the unit. Oh my god. Mine shots are going to hit. Mine gets taken out. This is good micro with these guys. That mine needs to die as well. Yeah, there we go. A couple of extra Marauders are gonna go down. 101 army supply against 102. I'm kind of liking the position here for Rogue again. Now, he did lose these right side bases, and sure, we have some mining for Cure, but he only has 3 orbitals. If he was on 7 orbitals here, I'd be like, well, this is scary, because his income is going to be close to 3.2k in that case. But here, I mean, he only has 3 orbitals, so he's not gonna, with 35 workers, he's gonna get like an income of 2k maybe, if he has all 3 mules working at the same time. He also needs to probably save a little bit for scan. So yeah, it's just, that's a bit of a yikes if you ask me. Now we have 9 extra banelings on the way here for Rogue, who is really focusing that pre-threat just on that bottom side, and the middle and that top side. Doesn't really care too much about the... Ooh, you see this? Let's actually get a hatchery over here. That's interesting. Big fight coming in as Rogue actually wants to fight up creep. I don't think that is the play here. I mean, the army supply for Cure is still relatively big. Oh, this muta control is so annoying. Every single time these Marauders get sent forward, Rogue's like, thanks for the Marauder, mate. Thanks for the Marauder. That is the disadvantage of having all your bio in a single control group. Of course, that these Marauders are always gonna keep walking in front, because they can't shoot Mutalisk. So they're just gonna get further and further ahead. Mutas for the quadrillion time, I was gonna say, are going to be going into the main base. Loses a couple, like literally a couple. I think they lost 2. There's a lot of mines just splattered around the map in seemingly random positions in the main base, and then just the entire third base is covered with them as well. I think what Cure is trying to do is just to get a couple of decent mine shots and then eventually push out with a massive mine count. We're talking 15, 16, 17 mines is what he probably is working towards. Get a bunch of Marauders, get a bunch of Marines, and then chill behind it. The creep threat on that top side is almost non-existent, meaning that the moment this base is under attack, it becomes so freaking hard to defend. Yeah, there we go. Rogue is like, okay, I'm not even going to try. I mean, I have no creep. You're right here next to me. There's an orbital command flying towards that top location. Now, would I have preferred a command center? Yeah, probably, but do I understand why he's doing this with an orbital? Yeah, of course. Here goes Rogue off creep. Is this what you want to do, Rogue? I'm not so sure. This is a pretty decent fight here for Cure. Now, there's a lot of money in the bank, which can be spent on Zerglings. A lot of the medevacs are going out. This was a completely fine fight. I'm not sure what I was saying. Ultras are gonna go down. Mine's not gonna connect with the Banelings, and thus this army gets pushed back even further. All medevacs have now officially died, and we have 110 supply against 178. If this base dies, that would be such a hit for Cure. Yeah, it's very important this stays alive. And the problem is that a split map scenario is going to take so long to kind of set up even that I think it's not realistic for Cure to basically hope for it, pray for it. Because really at this point it is kind of praying, hoping for that stable late game scenario in this DBZ. As Rogue says, you know what, my friend, I've had it with you, my friend. I've had it. I can send a run by perhaps to this top side one more time as I'm killing everything else. Decides not to do it. At least not yet. Muras and Lynx in the main base. Yeah, there we go. The Lynx flying over toward the top right base. As I mean, Cure is trying his best, but he just does not have the supply. Have the army supplies of opponents currently. And we see a Rogue just absolutely blasting on Cure over here. On Romanticide. Can be such a tough map for Zerg, but not for Rogue as he wins this game. GG gets called. And that's going to be it for today. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me a lot. Thumbs up. And I'll see you all next time for a new one. Bye bye.